Dog barks at babysitter, so mom hides camera in hair. The dog had displayed some bizarre quirks and behavior before, but what he was doing now was like nothing he'd ever seen. He had to do something, and just knew his wife would have a cunning plan. But after they listened to the recording, they immediately called the cops. Benjamin and Hope Jordan were living the American dream. They both had great careers. 7-month-old baby Finn was doing great, and their lovable pit bull Killian was always there for cuddles. All they needed was someone to protect their South Carolina home while they were out. But something was about to infiltrate their suburban paradise, and there was no way they could have prepared for it. With a young child to take care of, the Jordans knew they would need to hire full-time help to look after their home, while they put in the hours at work, and Finn warmed instantly to Alexis Kahn. As soon as her background check came through, they didn't hesitate to call Alexis and offer her the job. But in their excitement, the couple failed to notice how Killian was behaving around the new member of the household. The strange thing was, Benjamin had never encountered such a well-behaved dog in his life. Despite what people say about pit bulls, Killian had never been anything other than loving and protective toward the Jordan family. So when Benjamin and Hope learned that Killian didn't act the same way when they were out of the house, they were seriously concerned. Benjamin received a phone call at work one day. It was Alexis. "If you don't get this dog under control, I'm out of here." When he asked her to explain, Alexis revealed that Killian spent the whole day staring at her and would growl whenever she tried to clean or prepare food. "It stops me from moving around the house. I'm scared of it," she said. Benjamin just couldn't understand any of this. He had never seen Killian do anything like what Alexis was saying, but her safety came first. When he returned from work that day, Benjamin spent the evening with Killian and noticed nothing odd about him. But when he received yet another complaint from Alexis the next morning, he knew that something must be going on. Benjamin had been a dog owner for as long as he could remember, so he had a wide circle of friends in the canine community. He reached out to members of a Facebook group he was part of. Some suggested it could be an old habit that the new person had triggered in him, while others thought he might be envious of all the attention Alexis was pouring onto baby Finn. Benjamin knew he wasn't looking at the complete picture, so he'd have to get some extra insight. Alexis reported more disturbing behavior from Killian, and they'd had to convince her not to hand in her resignation on several occasions, persuading her with bonuses. The 22-year-old claimed this was the hardest job she'd ever had. Because of Killian, she even displayed scratches on her arm where Killian had attacked her. Benjamin and Hope promised Alexis they would find a solution if she could just hang on a little longer, and the Jordans had no choice but to do something quite drastic. It had taken them months to find Alexis. Finn could be quite badly behaved when he wanted to be, but he was so good when Alexis was around. She really brought out the best in him. Benjamin had considered keeping Benjamin fenced off while Alexis was in the house, but with the layout of the house and Alexis needing access to all rooms, it just wasn't practical. Then Hope had a thought. Maybe he's trying to warn her about something. Once the thought had crossed her mind, Hope was certain that the only explanation was that there was some kind of danger in the house, and Killian was simply trying to alert Alexis to it. Perhaps they had a wasp nest? Or maybe someone was staking the place out for a burglary? The more she thought about it, the more it made sense. They'd had Killian since he was a pup, and he'd always looked out for little Finn. In Hope's mind, there was only one way to prove once and for all what was causing Killian's weird outbursts. Hope's plan was to slip her phone under the couch and hit the audio record button to see if they could hear what was triggering Killian to bark so aggressively. They trusted Killian with their own baby, so they had to give him the benefit of the doubt before they followed through with Alexis's demands to get rid of him. But Benjamin wasn't so sure. They would need a better plan to be sure they were getting the most accurate information on their dog. Being an amateur electronics hobbyist, Benjamin had always been fascinated by the idea of combining his skills with practical applications. He spent countless hours tinkering with old gadgets, finding new ways to repurpose parts and build useful devices. After a particularly troubling incident involving their dog, Killian, Benjamin had an idea. Using parts from an old phone, he built a tiny recording device, small enough to fit under Killian's collar. The device would be hidden beneath the dog's thick fur, making it virtually undetectable. This would allow Benjamin and his wife, Hope, to eavesdrop on whatever was happening in their home, even when Killian wasn't nearby. The couple had become concerned after noticing their normally calm dog acting out of character, growling and barking at certain times. They suspected something was triggering this unusual behavior, and they couldn't shake the feeling that it was tied to their babysitter, Alexis. That evening, after a long day at work, Benjamin and Hope rushed home, eager to see if they could finally uncover the truth. They immediately went to Killian, who greeted them with his usual enthusiasm. Benjamin carefully retrieved the small device from under Killian's collar. To their relief, it was still intact. As soon as Alexis entered the house, she immediately began complaining about Killian's behavior, confirming their suspicions that the recording would reveal something significant. Once their baby, Finn, was settled in bed, Benjamin connected the recording device to his laptop. The couple sat in stunned silence as they listened to the audio. At first, all they could hear was a string of expletives. Benjamin recalled in his statement that the first sounds were clearly Alexis cursing, but that was just the beginning of their shock. The recording soon revealed what they feared. Alexis was shouting at Killian to get out, and in response, the dog growled and barked in protest. As the recording continued, they heard something that made their blood run cold. Alexis's voice was unmistakable, and it was clear that she had been verbally abusing their baby, Finn. Benjamin was horrified. For weeks, they had trusted Alexis to care for their child, and now they realized that she had been mistreating Finn while they were away. Without hesitation, Benjamin dialed 911. He played the recording for the police, who listened intently, showing genuine concern for what had transpired in the Jordan household. The audio was disturbing, but Benjamin knew that a simple recording wouldn't be enough to take action. The police were hesitant to move forward without more concrete evidence. But then, they heard the rest of the recording, and they understood just how serious the situation was. Benjamin was filled with anger and regret. He wished he had acted sooner, but now, with the evidence in hand, he knew that Alexis's days as a babysitter were numbered. Despite the clear implications of the recording, the police insisted they needed more proof before taking any legal action. Benjamin and Hope tried to figure out a way to gather more evidence. They considered hiding a camera in the house, but Alexis had cleaning responsibilities, making it too risky. With few options left, they decided to take a bold step. They requested an interrogation with Alexis. When the time came, they didn't have to wait long for her to crack. The Charleston City police detective confronted Alexis with the evidence, accusing her of failing to care for the baby properly. The confession came swiftly, and Alexis was arrested. She was sentenced and placed on a registry that would prevent her from working in childcare again. Benjamin and Hope were relieved, but the guilt lingered. Benjamin couldn't help but feel remorseful for not acting sooner, but he also knew that without Killian's intervention, they might never have discovered the truth. Killian's role in bringing Alexis to justice didn't go unnoticed. The dog was showered with treats, new toys, and a fresh bone as a token of gratitude. In fact, the local authorities even awarded Killian a medal for his bravery in protecting the Jordan family. Benjamin reflected on the ordeal, grateful that the situation had ended in justice. But as he looked at Killian, how many others could rely on their pets to alert them to danger? Not all dogs were as heroic as Killian. In the end, Benjamin and Hope were simply thankful that they had a loyal companion who helped them uncover the truth and protect their family.